recording, start streaming. I should be.
Okay, there's yours, but I don't see your camera. Okay, well, whatever. Here we go. Go or blow like a race car, right?
Yeah. We'll either do it or live video is starting. And it
That's what I would
says
say.
we are live, Evan.
Okay.
I think this is
Wow.
show 162.
Wow, everything's working.
I think so. I think we popped up and put it on my Facebook real quick. And then we'll get show one. Yeah, we're live. I see us.
Okay.
And put we live. If you're watching,
Perfect.
go ahead and share this to your page also if you're watching. We'd appreciate that. Get us a bunch of listeners in here because we got a fun show coming up. There's a lot of stuff, Evan. We've been gone for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple weeks. What do you got?
Man.
What's new?
Well, a lot, man. Last week I was up at school and man, just taking all this studio stuff. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was like I knew I had a tough week ahead of me just because of the classes, all electrical stuff. And I was like, man, do I really want to drag that stuff up? And I did want to do a show, but,
Mm-hmm.
and hell, you never know what's going to happen leaving that stuff in a hotel room while I'm in class 8 hours a day. So I didn't want to come back and all my shit be gone.
Yeah, I really don't. I wouldn't keep anything valuable. I don't trust those safes. It's not like there's somebody who can't figure them out, or at the hotel that doesn't know how to get into them. Also, things like that.
Yeah, no, never keep anything real valuable at your hotel. Although I'm very, very upset. I bought one of the days. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop at the store. I had to get something. I can't remember what I forgot to get. But I went into this Osco's, a Jewel Osco, and we don't have them around here anymore. Not like this one. I go in and man, this place is lit. I mean, everything smelled good. I got a sandwich from the deli. I got some fried chicken. And I just got a bunch of, I spent like $60 at the grocery store and just took it. And I ate on that for a few days, so.
Sure, cheaper than going out.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you what. When you get up to a big city like that, man, they sure do charge you for stuff. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying higher for everything. And
do they comp you? Do they provide you lunches and then say we're giving you allowance for dinner when they send you up there? How does that work?
Yeah, I can't remember the amount per day, but it's pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
So
I travel a little bit for CAT occasionally, and I think if your food receipt was over $25 or $30, then you had to turn it in with your expense report. And so I knew this dude who would travel with his family. They're paying for the hotel room, and he's like, I go to McDonald's and I would keep it under the limit, and that way I wouldn't have to show a receipt that I'm buying Happy Meals and stuff for all these kids. I was like, well, I guess if they don't know, they don't care, then what does it really matter? But I didn't know how if you had expense report, they just give you a per diem allowance.
Well,
just curious how it worked these days.
What was funny, dude, was every receipt I got, I just, I put it on my, I just folded it up and put it in my wallet. Well, if you're friends with me on Facebook, if you're not, if you just watch the show or whatever, I did my networking test on Tuesday and I passed it first time. And usually you get 3 tries to take the test. And usually I usually get it on the second. I hardly ever get it on the first. And I nailed this fucking thing. And I was
Nice.
just like, I was so worried because, man, it was, I think I said it before when I went the last time. It's like trying to get a drink out of a fire hydrant.
Mm-hmm.
All the information coming. So I'm sitting
It,
there. Go ahead.
no, I'm agreeing with you. I know what it's like. I've been a lot of those, and it's more information than you can digest and take at a time. You
Yeah.
like little bits, and you like to, okay, let me think this over and like work with it. But it's like, no, there's more coming. Yeah, it's tough. It's very stressful. Those situations because you're stressed because you think you're gonna fail that test or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah. And, well,
and
I mean, he
yeah,
started off saying, this is the toughest test that we have. This is going to be the hardest one you take.
oh
And
yeah,
so when you have that on top of it, I was just a ball of nerves. So I passed the first part of this test on Tuesday, and I was like, man, I'm sitting there and I'm waiting in traffic, dude. And I look over and I see a big tattoo sign. I was like, okay, I'm going to go in. And so I was talking to the guy, and I was like, I got an eagle on this arm. I just needed the eye kind of touched up. Um, and he goes, yeah. He goes, but he goes, I have a minimum. He goes, I can give you another. He goes, you want something on your forearm or something? And I chose to get a. I don't know if you can see it. It's a fish hook that goes through my skin. I love
hmm
fishing, so it kind of matches up with me. So I ended up going and getting a tattoo to celebrate me passing half my test.
nice,
So
nice.
Friday was the big test. We were there. I think we got out at maybe 3:30, and I mean that traffic, that Chicago, Illinois traffic is just it sucks. There's no really.
Especially on a Friday. Friday, everybody's trying to leave the city, and then going back Sunday
Yeah.
night, going back into town. Sometimes everybody's coming back in.
Mm,
Yep.
wow. And I don't know. And then something happened. I get an alert on my phone. I look down, and it was kind of windy and everything. And all of a sudden, it said dust storm, and I was like, I have never got an alert for a dust storm. And then all of a
Mm.
sudden, like to my southwest, I just see it brown. And so I get off the interstate. I'm on, I think, 66, and I stop in a little town. And man, the minute I did, you couldn't see the hood.
Wow.
And as quick as it came, it was gone.
Hmm.
I mean,
Pretty
and
wild.
it was that quick. And it left probably quarter inch of dust on that Audi I was driving.
One thing, well, here's a little PSA for people. Some people don't know this. It seems to be about your air conditioning system in your car, your heating and ventilation. You have a button on there, and it shows like a loop with an arrow.
Yeah.
It's a recirculate circulate button. And what most people don't realize, your car during normal operation, your air conditioned heat and all that stuff, it pulls air in from outside.
True.
And you're going down the road, like when you're on the highway with an old car where you had to adjust the fan, you can turn the fan way down. Air is pushing that car. It's pushing air into the cowl through the hood, into the passenger compartment. Now you have a button on your car, recirculate. Now what this does is there's usually a little automatic door, a vacuum actuated door inside the heating box that shuts off the outside air. This is really in really hot weather when you're trying to get a car to cool quick. You're not constantly pulling hot air in from outside. You can take that cold air and you can recirculate and you can cool the car down quicker in recirculate mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got me? Now, also, what that does is if you're going through a dust storm, it shuts off that air coming into your car. Now, most cars have,
Autumn.
car, yeah, those filters and stuff, which nobody ever changes. But yeah, if you're going through some dust or anything nasty, or you're in some traffic and somebody's car is really filthy, hit the recirculate button, and that will just recirculate the air in the car, and you're not pulling outside air until you can get to somewhere where you can, Now don't leave it in there because you're recycling that stale air in,
Yeah, right. And especially if you stink.
Well, what was really funny is a couple years ago working at Tate and Lyle, the dude was driving the company van. It was a hot day. A guy I worked with went down south to another plant, and he had a van, and he had a whole bunch of samples on dry ice. And he was driving the van, and it was a hot day. He had on recirculate, probably didn't realize it, and he started getting like lightheaded, dizzy, and everything. And so he was heading, to wherever to drop off these things, and he headed to the hospital, changed his route, and then when he got to the hospital, got out, started walking to the hospital, he felt fine. And he put together all these samples that were on dry ice in the back. That's CO, it's carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, it doesn't melt. It's sublimation. It turns from a solid into a gas. And he was filling the car with CO2, and he had that thing recycled. So he was in a box, basically, this is how some people kill chickens. They put it,
Yeah.
They use dry ice to fog them out, and everything. So that's exactly, so one of those things to be careful with, but that's a PSA that most people don't realize in your car is you have this feature, and it's really handy when you get those conditions,
Yeah, just don't do it when you're carrying like gasoline or chemicals.
Yeah, dry ice.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, one of those things as you get older, you're like, hey, I think, a lot of people don't know this. Plus, when you restore a car, you figure this crap out, And
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, I just thought I'd pass that along.
Yeah, yeah. I know these dogs aren't going to start fighting. Evan, we do have a little bit of news to get to. Then I got several lists, but I don't know what we'll get to. But weird and wacky news from around the world. Houston man sues Whataburger for $1 million after putting onions on his burger.
Oh, come on.
Dude, if you could sue, I don't know. I wonder if he's allergic or something, but it's still, yeah. I mean,
I hope it gets thrown out. I mean, there's people, being someone who's kind of gluten intolerant, there's celiac people that can't have any cross contamination, and they've been cross contaminated when they've been told, oh, this isn't this, and then they never get to sue and get any kind of recourse. So. Yeah, fuck him and his onions.
Yeah, I guess he suffered an allergic reaction to onions on a burger, despite ordering the meal with no onions. Okay, now if you're that deadly, maybe you shouldn't be ordering a place because onions are going to be everywhere.
Right, and check. Accidents happen,
Yeah.
Check. If it's that big of a deal to you. I mean, I don't like tomatoes, and so I usually check, but I don't have allergic reactions to them, but I still check because I don't like tomatoes on my sandwiches.
He filed a lawsuit April 25th for monetary relief over $250,000, but less than $1 million.
Yeah, screw him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get that. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. That's what's wrong with our judicial system now. School evacuated after kid brings grenade to show and tell.
That's probably smart. How did that happen?
Well, he got one of his great-grandfather's World War II grenades, Evan, and took it to school. It had
that shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Right. It had no fuse in it, so we were good, but you can't be too careful.
Yeah, I understand how that goes.
You don't want to be. But they did have to evacuate the school, and the bomb disposal experts were called. Yeah, it's a World War II explosive device.
Funny.
Alligator spotted knocking on doors in Florida neighborhood.
You said, see you later. Here I am.
Oh, no. This is never a
Yeah.
good thing to do. Evan, if you ever escape from jail, do not taunt New Orleans inmates appear to have taunted jailers in photos of hole they escaped from by writing "too easy," LOL.
Yeah, don't.
How do you guarantee that you will never get out of your jail cell again?
That's it.
Uh, I think these people should be. I think something bad should happen to these people. 2 killer whales and 12 dolphins abandoned at closed marine park. No,
They're abandoned
you don't get
in
to.
the park.
Uh, in France. Yeah, they closed their doors January 2025. It
Wow.
says the Marine closed its doors, citing French laws about the use of dolphins and whales in performances. Well, you can't just leave them, you douchebag.
Yeah, and these big echo tanks that they're in.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. I am not a zoo guy. I'm not an aquarium guy. Um, there's enough shit where you can see that stuff online, and
Yeah.
there's some of that shit I don't need to see. And if it's in the
Mm,
ocean, I only go knee deep in the ocean. You can call me what you want, sissy, whatever. There's stuff down there that can eat me whole. I don't mess
that's
around
true.
with the ocean. Now give me
But
a dirty
I don't
creek.
either.
Yeah. Man died of blunt force injuries at U.S. Zoo after suspected kangaroo fight.
Yeah, they'll box your ass.
Yeah. Please tell me
Blunt
that.
force injuries. Yeah, they'll kick you. They'll not. Yeah, you don't mess with a kangaroo ever.
Please tell me this guy did not. South Carolina officials investigating the death of Eric Slate, 52, in conditions of the petting zoo owned by his brother. Well, yeah. Okay. Officials in South Carolina are investigating the death of a man who is believed to have been killed by fighting a kangaroo in an enclosure at a children's petting zoo. He
Oh my god.
deserved that. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to his family. I'm sorry that you had to live 52 years with a fucking idiot.
that's goes under play stupid games. You know, win stupid prizes.
Evan, if you've ever thought about buying tremendous amounts of meth, you might end up with a baby monkey. California officials find baby monkey and a tremendous amount of meth in drug bust.
No kidding.
It's a cute little monkey, too. Most monkeys are cute when they're little. It's when they get older and they can rip your skin off with their bare hands. That's when the cuteness kind of wears off for me.
Yeah, yeah. They turn. I don't know. They hit maturity and they get evil.
Woman
They get
divorces
mean.
husband after Chat GPT reads his coffee grounds and predicts affair. What
Some
the
of this chat
fuck?
GT, whatever, who programs this stuff? I watch these videos and someone's like, they ask this, chat, and it gives them this stuff, and it's like, who is sitting there programming this? This is absurd. To people like, look, it's AI says it. This must be true.
Toddler has surprising fear of John Wilkes Booth being under her bed.
Really?
Dude,
Too many Lincoln bucks or something? What's
I
going on here?
don't know.
That's a
Uh,
good one.
mm, Police walk up to a car, Evan. They find the suspect with a meth pipe in his mouth. Although it's hard to put handcuffs on a raccoon, Evan.
I was wondering where you were going with that, and I saw that clip of that raccoon with.
With the,
We're like, we're gonna get you help, buddy.
yeah, hold on. We got to show the. If you
What are we
have
doing to
not
animals?
seen this, this is pretty funny. Um, Give it a second. It'll come up. But yeah, if you look uh, about right there, you got. Oh, you got a raccoon with a meth pipe. That is amazing.
That's a good one.
Anyway, that we're about
Never
done.
know.
We're about done with news, Evan. But I went ahead and I checked our buddy Dave, and we got actually 3 bozo criminals of the day.
All right.
So one of them's kind of short, but this one's pretty good. This one's from Wichita, Kansas, where our buddy Gordon is a longtime meth user, Evan. And in fact, he found himself in debt to his dealer to the tune of $20,000. Now,
No.
I'm going to go on record saying that's the coolest dealer I have ever heard of. You get over
Yeah, that's unheard
500.
of.
Yeah, you get over 500, they're threatening you. Well, he had had enough, Evan. He threatened him and his family. Told him to come up with the money quick. And that's when our bozo came up with the brilliant plan that in Riverside Park there was a cannon on display from the Civil War. Thinking he could sell the cannon for scrap, he set to steal it. Enlisting he help of a homeless man who he bribed with drugs and a pipe, they set out to lift the cannon off its pedestal. Fail number 1, Evan. The thing weighs over 800 pounds. Onto the backup plan, wrap a chain around the Chevy Tahoe's trailer hitch and drag it away.
Mm-hmm.
Things were looking good, Evan, until the chain snapped. Right in the middle of the street. Fail number 2. Undeterred, he left the cannon there and borrowed a new, stronger chain from a buddy of his. The chain did the job and the cannon was stashed at his girlfriend's garage. He offered the cannon to the dealer, telling him there was enough scrap copper in the cannon to pay off the debt. You know, here's the one thing about drug dealers. They want cash, Evan. So,
yeah, they don't want cannons. They sure
yeah.
don't.
The next step was to try to sell the cannon to a scrap metal dealer himself. Only one problem. You need a special license to sell scrap. By the time the cops were tipped off as what was going on with our bozo, he was hiding at his mother's house. He has been placed under arrest charged with theft and damaging public property. There you go.
Good old meth. I don't know how you could think you could begin to take a Civil War monument or whatever. And
This one's a short one, but it's from Florida, Evan, where this bozo was walking around wearing a T-shirt with no pants, private parts dangling freely in the tropical breeze, and
I can
carrying
understand, yeah.
2 wine bottles and a can of beer.
No kidding.
Our bozo insured his place in the Bozo Hall of Shame by identifying himself to the local cops as Charles Dickens.
Dick out.
After determining his real name, our bozo was placed under arrest, charging with providing false name to law enforcement, open container, and indecent exposure.
No kidding.
The cops they don't really find public nudity as funny as some people do when they are drunk.
That's true. That's a job I could not do.
And then finally this one, Evan. Our bozo for today comes from the internet division. You may be familiar with the OnlyFans site where many fantasies come true. Unfortunately for our bozo for today, trying to fulfill some of them fantasies caused her to fall in the long arms of the law. Seems this bozo, who goes by the name Kinky Kelly, on the site that specializes in pee. Bleh.
E?
Yeah.
Okay.
And specifically peeing in public places. So people are
Gotcha.
they're just, oh my God. Her latest pee spree found her at the Marriott Hotel in Keene, New Hampshire, where she sprayed the hotel's room's air conditioner, a comforter blanket, curtains, and a Bible. Oh.
That was quite the pee spree.
And
oh, my Lord.
Since she posted her pee pics on her OnlyFans site, it wasn't too difficult for the cops to track her down. She is arrested on felony and misdemeanor charges.
Good for her.
Wow. What is wrong with people, man? And what look,
They like to watch that. I mean,
that is the weirdest thing. There's something wrong with you. If you look, I'm a fucked up dude. And if I'm telling you something is wrong with you, that means something is wrong with you. But if you're into that kind of stuff, you should probably get some help.
it's just pushing the most extreme taboo. You know, it's like what else is there? You know, you want to watch someone urinate. The whole stepmom stepsister thing. It's like what next?
Yeah.
What can we take to the next level? You know, it's like, whew, yeah.
We're going to end up with a bunch of web feet babies up in here is what's going to happen.
I don't know.
Evan, we got a few lists. I kind of thought this one was cool. 15 inventions that only exist because somebody was late.
Okay. Hey,
The microwave oven.
I could see that.
Running late for lunch one day in 1945. He noticed that his chocolate bar in his pocket had melted when he stood near an active magnetron.
Yeah, that would do it, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And one thing, and it took me a long time to learn this, there's no radiation in your microwave. None.
No.
So quit thinking that. It's not radio. I know people that still think that.
No.
Post
I
it.
had an X-ray once, and I had a cell phone in my pocket, and it got hot. They didn't tell you if you're gonna have an X-ray, take your cell phone out of your pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't tell me that. I was like, dang, this thing's getting warm. Kill it.
Post-it notes, Evan.
I thought that was invented by a preacher or something like that.
You are absolutely correct. Frustrated with
Marking the pages. Yeah.
Evan, I'm impressed. Frustrated with bookmarks that kept falling out of his hymnal, Fry remembered silver weak adhesive and realized it could create markers that stick without damaging pages.
Huh.
I know I
Yeah,
book.
I remember hearing one of those stories that, yeah, something like that. And yeah, it was kind of an accident that somebody, or yeah, that they took some home. They did it. It was a misprint. They were trying to make adhesive thing, only did a strip of it, and somebody started. Yeah, you hear the stories, kind of like WD-40 and everything else.
Vulcanized rubber. Charles Goodyear
Okay.
had accidentally dropped a mixture of rubber and sulfur onto a hot stove when he was running late for an appointment. When he returned, he discovered that the rubber had charred but remained pliable.
Oh, he learned how to cook rubber tires.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Why was he now? Why did this guy have what sulfur and rubber near his stove? What the heck was he doing? Just a coincidence.
The pacemaker, Evan. I
Okay.
now I kind of know what this means though now. So Wilson was working on a device to record heart rhythms in 1956 when he reached into a box for a resistor, and in a hurry and not paying full attention, he grabbed the wrong component and installed a resistor with the incorrect ohm value.
Okay.
The circuit pulsed in a rhythm remarkably similar to a heartbeat instead of recording the sound as intended.
Huh.
Potato chips.
Hmm.
In 1853, Chef George Crumb was having a rough night at Saratoga Springs. A customer repeatedly sent back his fried potatoes, claiming they were too thick and soggy. Grum slice of potatoes paper thin and fried them to a crisp out of spite. This
And he loved it.
This hasty act of passive aggressiveness created what we now know as a potato chip.
That's pretty cool. I'm really blown away that they used to fry whole potatoes years ago. Um, that's an interesting one. Man, I miss being a kid. Our church was right across street from Kelly's Potato Chip, right off of El Dorado. Man, the smell going to church in the morning, the smell of fresh
Oh yeah,
potato chips, it was just crazy awesome
yeah,
smell.
it was. I had a paper route in that neighborhood, and boy, they'd start like 3:30 in the morning. And you're right,
Hmm.
you just wake up and smell fresh potatoes cooking. It was like,
Yeah, it wasn't every Sunday morning. It must have been when they were running overtime or something. But sometimes going to church in the morning, like, whoa, you just want to just go inside and be like, give us a bag. Come on.
the ice cream cone, Evan,
Huh.
at
I
the
could see that.
At the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, an ice cream vendor ran out of dishes during a busy day.
They used a waffle.
Yes, used a waffle-like pastry at a neighboring booth, and they quickly rolled one of these. He quickly rolled one of his wafers into a cone shape to help serve the ice cream. Wow.
Brilliant. That's cool stuff.
Penicillin.
Yeah.
Uh, he went on The guy went on vacation. Upon returning, he noticed that mold had contaminated one of his petri dishes, but it created a bacteria-free zone around itself. So there you
Hmm.
go. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, pharmacist John Pemberton was working on creating a medicine for headaches in 1886. Rushing to serve one of his customers, his assistant accidentally mixed carbonated water instead of regular water with the medicinal syrup.
That's how it went down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I knew, like, most of your soda, it came from the pharmacies, but I didn't know exactly how it carbonated water. I wonder why they had Okay, yeah, I guess people used to do that for regular drinks and things. And hmm,
The Slinky. Naval engineer Richard James was working with tension springs to develop instruments for monitoring power on a naval vessel. One day in 1943, he knocked a spring off his desk while rushing to a meeting. Instead of falling straight down, the spring walked down in a series of arcs. This
I got a
inspired
toy.
the creation of one of the most popular toys in history. What
I still have one new in the box. Yeah.
what a dumb toy. That you get like the first time it walks downstairs, you're like, cool, and then you never touch it again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Really, what are you really gonna do with that thing? There's not much you can do with it, but yeah, that's the stuff we had to play with. The kids' toys these days are so much more sophisticated. I mean, and we had springs and crap like that to play with. Yeah, good times. Kids should be
Artificial.
so much more advanced these days.
This
Sorry.
one is very, very scary, and this is my opinion on it, but I'll read it first. Artificial sweetener. Um, di- he dis- this guy discovered saccharin in 1879. Now listen, after a long day in the lab of studying coal tar uh, ingredients, running late for dinner, he forgot to wash his hands before eating. He noticed that the bread he was eating tasted unusually sweet and traced it back to the residue on his fingers. Um, yeah, that
Great.
stay away from that. I don't think you can even get shit with saccharin in it now.
Saccharin, and it tastes really. Well, it's very a cancer agent, wasn't it? But it
Yeah.
just tasted horrible. I remember of
Well,
all the sweeteners, I think that saccharin stuff was just.
it comes from
Ugh.
coal tar.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
Wow.
that
I mean, I don't know that aspartame is a whole lot safer for us all, but yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
champagne was made on accident, Evan. Dom Perignon wasn't trying to create a sparkling wine when he was making traditional wines. The cold winters there interrupted the fermentation process, and when the spring arrived, the wines would often start a second fermentation, creating bubbles that were considered a fault.
Mm.
So
But
now
people liked it.
we celebrate champagne and shit. Champagne's, I don't know. There's some red wines and white wines that are stupid price.
Oh yeah, they all are. But I'm not a champagne person. It's just like whatever. I'd rather have a nice glass of.
Uh oh, you there? I think we lost Evan.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, we
No,
lost you.
I'm here. I had no problem.
Yeah, I don't know why I lost.
Video signal, but
Yeah, super glue.
hopefully everything's okay. I don't know about that one. How'd that come about?
He was cre- trying to create clear plastic gun sights for Allied soldiers. Working quickly under wartime pressure, he created a substance that stuck to everything it touched, and it was immediately rejected as too adhesive.
He was the first person to glue his fingers together. You know he was.
Yes. Harry Coover. Years later,
Awesome.
while racing to develop heat resistant polymers for jet canopies, he rediscovered his formula. His initial failure under time pressure eventually became superglue.
Awesome.
So, man, I tell you what, if you're not more smarter after watching our show,
Amen. The facts you learn.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
enough of those. There was one I wanted to do real quick. It's a quick one. And see if we can add to
It's in.
this. 11 annoying greetings that immediately turn people off when you first meet them. What do you think your worst one is, Evan? I can already tell you mine. Sup.
Um,
Sup. Sup, dude. Sup. I
y-
fucking hate that.
I could see that.
It's like, okay,
Uh,
man, unless you're a stoner, like, just coming out of the ocean with your surfboard, I don't want to hear sup.
that's a good one. Okay.
Number one on the list, guess who? Yeah, you're kind of a douchebag if you walk into a party. Guess who?
Yeah.
Don't do
We
that.
see. We don't need to guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
we
see. We
already
don't need to
know.
guess. Nice job.
We're leaving now.
I'll give you that one. Absolutely. Hmm.
I don't know why you would greet somebody like this, but you look tired.
Yeah,
Hi.
that's rude.
Hi.
You're
You look
someone like
tired.
that's just they're just trying to immediately put someone on the defense. Someone who's like that, you know. Oh,
Man, I
okay.
I get this a lot. I don't like hearing this shit. So stop. You're shorter than I expected. Did you get that one, Evan?
I lost the audio, but I was watching the caption about
You're
some about you're shorter than I thought you were or something.
yeah.
Oh, that's pretty broke.
These are 11 annoying greetings. Immediately turn people off when you first meet them. Yeah, you don't want to say anything about their appearance if you're first meeting them.
Yeah.
Number four.
Yeah, even though I'm short, it has nothing to do with it. But the one's like, "What's going on, big guy?" or
Yeah,
something like that. Something
yeah,
that's really kind of, it's almost kind of condescending. They're trying to act like, "Oh, we're so buddy, crap like that." It's just like, just shut up.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That
Number
one comes to
four.
mind.
So what's your deal?
I'll be honest, I'm an asshole. How do
Yeah.
you answer that one?
These are 11
Oh,
annoying greetings. How is this a greeting? How much money do you make? Number one, guys, if you meet a female that you say hi, and the first thing she says is, "How much money do you make?" Yeah, just turn away.
yeah, and if it's a guy, that person probably has some kind of major social issues. They're kind of some kind of nobody should ever ask that. At least not your first question or whatever. It's nobody's business, and right off the bat, especially.
Number six on the list, Evan. Wow, you're late. Yeah, don't call people out on shit. Even if you probably have a good reason, just don't. It just makes
Yeah,
everything awkward.
yeah. If I thought you were more important, I'd be here earlier. Shut up.
11 annoying
Um,
greetings that immediately turn people off when you first meet them. Number seven, you remind me of my ex.
or any older person. you know. You just
Anybody, yeah. Don't. If you're gonna compare them, do that with your friends. Don't do it to
my
the person, even if
yeah.
you think it's a compliment, because you got to think they don't know that. They don't know that
Right.
person.
Yeah, even if you said you remind me of my grandpa. What?
Yeah.
Could- it could be a good thing, but it doesn't sound like it to me.
Where are you from? No. Where are you really from? Yeah, if I tell you where I lived, that's good enough. And especially if I'm just meeting you, none of your damn business.
Where are you really from? Yeah, that's something people really wouldn't ask anymore. We're so many generations past that it's just funny.
11 annoying things people immediately turn off to when you first meet them. Let's cut to the chase is number 9,
I'm a no bullshit guy. Let's cut to the chase.
Are we gonna do this or what?
What's your bottom dollar?
Yeah. Number 10, do you even know anyone here? Man, this is a douchebag that wrote this.
Do I need to? They know me.
Yeah. And number 11. Of 11 things you should not say, it turns people off when you first meet them. Let's get this over with.
It's not a. It's like a house closing or something.
Oh my goodness, man. That is hilarious.
Yeah. Wow, you are a dick. Let's get this over.
Man.
with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
That's funny. That's funny stuff.
no, not that one. Trying to find another one. I think that's going to be 19 rules. 19 old rules, Evan, that people still follow that make no sense today. And then after this, Evan, I got a question of the day, and we keep dropping. That sucks. Well,
Ye-
we might
Yeah,
have to.
I'm losing audio, so I'm watching the text.
Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't last long like Skype did. It just goes out and then comes back on. But
We got storms coming. It always seems to be an issue with
yeah,
weather. I don't get it.
and we do too here. So, but we'll
All
try.
that high tech 5G.
I know, right? But we got this list, and then we got a couple questions of the day that we like to end on. But these are 19 old rules that people still follow that make no sense today. Number 1 on the list, Evan, don't wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah, we talked about that one. I don't get it.
I don't either. The next one, always clean your plate. Why shouldn't
It's
you?
not necessary.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're full, you're full.
No.
You know?
They mean like after you're done eating, like clean it off.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 4, you need a landline. Speaking of, in the town that I am currently living in, there was some crackheads that were climbing telephone poles and stealing all the old telephone wires.
Copper.
Wait 30 minutes after eating to swim. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
I don't.
I've never got a cramp swimming, and especially after I ate.
Or see somebody throw up or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder where that came from. Wait half hour. I thought I was going to die as a kid. You know, these rules are so steadfast and hardcore. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
You must go to college to succeed.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. I tell you what, some of the most successful people that I know never went, barely made it out of high school, let
Right. They
alone,
did it their way.
yeah.
I, I respect that a lot more.
Men shouldn't cry. Well, it
Uh,
depends. Like if I don't know. Like if you lose somebody, I think it's okay to shed a couple tears. But you
yeah, but
can't.
that's what
Yeah, I mean,
one of
if
those things we've got past in society where it's not taboo anymore. Oh man, to cry, he's weak. No, no, he's
like,
human.
like I saw a sports game that made it to like a game 7, and there was grown dudes crying because their sports team lost. I think we got to man it up a little bit, fellas.
Yeah, that's that's somebody who it's really it's in a way you're like, how detached are you from real life if this is what you're crying over? You know, like there's some real shit going on in the world. Don't cry over this crap.
These are 19 old
It's is men playing kids games. Sorry.
Right, right. These are 19 old rules people still follow that make no sense today. Evan, you're going to love this one. Women must shave everything.
I'm still about it. Everything but your head.
Oh my god. I'm always answer the phone. No. No. And I'm going to tell you something that you should get into a habit of doing. Turn off every fucking alert on your phone. And then
Hmm.
you check it when you want to check your messages and shit. Don't live by that phone. And
Hmm.
man, I see it too much. And every time somebody gets an email, an instant message, fuck that. Sometimes you got to walk away from that thing. Those
I
phones are probably one of the most. It's amazing technology. It's so, but it has hurt society so fucking bad.
it's amazingly addictive. It's
Yeah,
in yeah, it's endorphins. Ooh, I got alerts. Ooh, I got likes. It's yes. I have my phone on silent, so I don't hear all these dings. I don't have all that, and that's tough to do when you have older parents and everything. You need to be on alert. And
yeah,
like Vicky's
yeah.
like that, but now her mom's just had a stroke, and her mom is sending me now stuff at 2, 3 in the morning, videos that she's finding, reels. Thing, and, and my phone's, I get up in the morning, I'm like, oh, 5 new notifications, no problem. But yeah, Vicky's getting that all night long. Ding, 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 while she's trying to. No.
No, you gotta let that go. Yeah,
Yeah, your phone is for your convenience, not other people. I mean,
yeah,
ultimately, when it comes down to now, you have to make exceptions for your life. Like going back to the parents thing, but a phone is for your convenience, not
yeah.
other people's.
Well, and there's a lot of people that phone is their fucking life. If they lose that motherfucker, no. Phew. Next one on the
Mm-hmm.
list: you need to buy a house to be successful. I
Man,
know.
that's a tough one.
I think you do have to own some properties. I mean,
It
because
it it helps, but houses that now they say, or they used to say when I was looking years ago, if you're going to move somewhere and you're going to be somewhere less than 5 years, you're better to rent. If you're going to be there more 5 years, get a house and start building equity. But you buy a house, man, you always end up remodeling. You're always spending so much money on it the first couple years. They're expensive. You got to build your equity.
um, man, I tell you what, this dude on this, I see where he's going and everything, but I'm gonna stop the list because I don't want to say anything bad about this person because he's got his own beliefs and he can believe what he wants. But I'm not gonna read these last ones. So
All right.
yeah, there, man, he kind of gets political, man. Here's one: you can't wear hats indoors. That used to be a big thing, like back in the '50s and stuff, where they had hat checks and shit like that.
Yeah, nobody pays attention to that anymore. You can
Uh,
show up at court in a ball cap. Nobody cares.
Here, I'll give you this one. You need to work a 9 to 5 job. Okay, look, you got to make money. If you want
Hmm.
to live in today's society, and look, working 20 hours a week ain't gonna fucking cut it. Ain't gonna cut it. So that this guy's kind of left wing, and I see where he's going. Only married couples should live together. Blah blah
Yeah, yeah,
blah.
yeah. But when it comes to the whole 95 thing, it's something they've tried to kind of push everybody into because they want to get ultimately people away from sustainability, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Work a 9 to 5 and buy everything you need instead of to live on a farm and raise everything you need. You know, those are the people that are hardest to control. So, yeah, that's one of those things. But you don't with these days in technology, if you want to work from answering phones from midnight to 7 a.m. because that works better for your schedule, you know, or
Yeah.
if you want to do your own home business or do whatever you want or whatever, the world is yours. You don't have to be stuck in this 9 to 5
No.
Monday through Friday
Yeah.
bullshit. You know, if it works good for you, I mean, I enjoy it when I worked because I liked weekends free, I like evenings free, and it worked with my lifestyle. And I like leaving the house every day to get the fuck out, you know, but
Right.
it doesn't work for everybody. It's, you know.
Evan, what is
Yes, sir.
something you've experienced that has significantly shaped who you are today?
Man, that's a wow. I need it. These questions are just
I know. That was a good one right
it's
there.
not it's not what's your favorite color, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Or here, I'll give you this one. That's a tough one. This one might be a
It
little
really
easy.
is.
What's your favorite song and what is the memory associated with it?
Man, I don't that's a weird one because my favorite song has always been A Day in the Life by the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember hearing on the radio as a kid and I just thought uh, the lyrics in there, the he blew his mind out in a car. He didn't realize the light had changed. And it was just it's the most bizarre, a very bizarre line in a song. And it always, as a kid, it always stuck with me. And for my whole life, I rarely listened to it. But when I hear it, I'm just like, that song is just, and I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but I would put that one up at number one, A Day in the Life. And it's just always stuck with me that it's like, you know, I got other songs, but that one is number one, and it's just because it's always bewildered me from a young age, and the song is just completely cosmic. It's, you know, the Beatles and their changes. It's like a lot of Beatles songs or, you know, Wing songs. It's like two, three songs shoved together. You know,
Oh, yeah.
anyway, the weird changes. Like, wow, this song is completely different than the intro. You know, the beginning part. Most bands aren't like that, but anyway, yeah. It's a weird one, but it's always stuck with me. You
Uh,
got one?
yeah, I think mine has to be Nutshell by Alice in Chains. Um,
Yes.
Dude, that song,
Wow.
it reminds me of a good friend of mine when we first listened to that song, and he was diagnosed with cancer, and it just that when I hear that song today, I mean, it still talks to me. So
That's the first song on Jar of Flies, is it not?
I think so. No, I don't think it's the first song. I think it's
Is it Rotten Apple and then Nutshell?
yeah, yeah, I think so.
Man, I hate to tell this story, but it's so funny, the memory of that album, because I was waiting for that to come out. I was in college. And man, I was home. Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble for this so fucking bad. I was home from college like a couple weeks before that, and I was at my grandma's house, and she had some Valium, and I'd never taken a Valium before, and I always wonder what are these things like, you know? So I took two of them, stuck them in my pocket, and I went back to school, and I had those for I don't know, it was a week or so, and that album came out. I rode my bike up to 4th Street Records in Charleston on Lincoln Avenue and bought that album day it came out, and I rode my bike home. I put that CD in. I ate one of them Valiums. I called my buddy Jonesy, and I'm like, dude, you want to eat a Valium? I pulled a couple bongs, and I ate a Valium, and I threw in that CD. Yeah, that's the second song on there. And those first two songs, Rotten Apple and Nutshell, I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
That was Alice in Chains moved to the next level with that EP,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. They did. They did.
So anyway, I've never really told that, and it's oh Jesus, I'm going to hear about it, but it's too juicy to tell, so I just did.
Hey, well, anyway, sorry, Mom. You know? Hey, it's a little late to get grounded now, bud.
That's true. I'm damn near a senior citizen.
Yeah. Hey, Evan,
8 months.
let's go ahead and jump on off here. We've bothered these people long enough, and man, we've had quite a few in the chat room. We appreciate you, but tell these beautiful people goodbye.
All right, people. Thanks for coming back. We've been gone a couple weeks, and for you that rejoined us, we appreciate it and your patience. And I hope you have a nice week. And we hope to see you next week.
Yeah, I apologize. I had to do some schooling, and then week before it was just a bad week, and work things, life things. So we're back on track, and we will catch you next Monday night for episode 163 of the AlfromDtown&Chili442 Show. Thank you guys so much. We love you. Peace, and be good to one another.
Later.